shit. That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Welcome to a special edition of Higher Ed Pulse. I'm your host, Mallory Wilsey, and we're live at the 2024 AMA Symposium for the Marketing of Higher Education, bringing you conversations directly from the floor with thought leaders, innovators, and industry changemakers. Let's dive in and check the pulse of what's happening right here at the symposium. Listeners, we're back live at AMA, and I'm talking to Santhana Naidu, the VP for Marketing and Communications at Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. Santhana, we are about halfway through the second day at AMA. There's been a lot of amazing sessions and keynotes so far. What are some of the things that you are excited to take back to Rose-Hulman that you've learned here?
One of the things I enjoy about AMA is just meeting with some of the peer institutions and what are some things that they're doing differently and what they're learning. And so I always look forward to learning from my peers, some of the best practices to take away. I think definitely this year's one of the themes have been around AI, just like in the marketing industry all over the place. And so I've enjoyed the conversations around AI and how people are using it to increase efficiency in their areas or some of the personalization, so forth. So that's been good. Loved the keynote sessions. I don't know if you were there yesterday. Very inspirational stories and how that relates to marketing and DEI and so forth.
So let's dig into this theme of AI that you are picking up on the conference, and particularly that efficiency angle. So you are at the VP level, and I've had a handful of conversations for the podcast here at AMA where sometimes leaders are like, I don't really have time to learn this. And other times leaders are like, I have to make time to learn this. Where do you fall on that spectrum? And then we'll take it from there.
I definitely fall on the second part of the spectrum of I have to make time to learn it, because if I don't, it's going to impact us more or less. And the less I know about it, the more resistant I'm going to be. And so I've made it a point to make time to learn it. And the more I've learned, quite frankly, I've turned around to thinking about I know there's been a lot of skepticism around AI and some fear about, privacy and taking jobs and so forth. I think I've really, as I've learned more, come to appreciate how much it can help. I've always kind of looked at it from a standpoint of, is it going to help increase our productivity, efficiency, or is it going to help personalize content to the user? Or is it like in some cases, even predictive modeling, right? So we do some surveys that it's easier to get a quicker analysis on how that works. So those are different areas that I've been a proponent of internally using AI.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I think you're right. The first step is educating yourself as a leader, so then you can go and educate your team. And I want to double click on what you just said about the fear of job loss, because I think that's a reality. I think a lot of people are really nervous about that. But we work in an industry that is often our teams are often under-resourced. We often have more open positions than we can fill, or someone leaves and we can't refill that position. And it seems to me like one of the best things AI can bring to us is increasing the effectiveness of the teams that we have, because it's allowing them to be more efficient. Can you dig into that a little more?
Yeah, I love what you said, because I'm definitely a big proponent of, most institutions, not all, more than 90% are strapped for resources, and, getting a position to approve, new positions created is a challenge, let alone filling in today's space. And so I don't think the answer is let's do, more with less, and people are going to be burned out with that. Or it's also the answer is not let's just do less because we don't have the resources. And so, I think any good team, you're trying to put at the same level as you always have been, or even higher, even though you might be having less resources, with positions are empty or can't fill and those types of things. And I think that's exactly where I believe AI can come into improving efficiency. Or in some cases you hear stories of, I'm working 60, 70 hours, right? Let's use some tools to make our own lives easier rather than losing jobs. And
It's not just about helping prevent the burnout, but it's also about freeing up the team to be more creative. I mean, we're MarCom professionals. I would bet that your team loves the work that allows them to think strategically and creatively, and there's like just a lot of things in our day-to-day that are routine or administrative, or like that we can automate through AI, that we can use AI to like take the stuff off our plates that we might not enjoy as much. I'm curious if, as you've been expanding, AI tools within your team and encouraging them to explore it, like, are you feeling that sense of creativity start to grow?
yeah, I'm definitely seeing both from a creative standpoint and an efficiency standpoint within our team, because I'm a proponent of, we talk so much about work-life balance, right? And so I'm a proponent of, if you can use AI to get your job done and have a few free hours, just good for you, right? And one of the things I asked our team at our summer retreat last year, so like 23 summer, I asked him for a retreat for every single person in our team to come to the retreat with pick a tool. I don't care what AI tool, but I want you to understand and come and demonstrate to the team how the tool can help you improve your efficiency or be creative, right? And everyone around the table, some were very familiar and some had to teach themselves, came in and had several examples. And part of it, why I did that, is I wanted them to learn and become like a useful way of doing it. And so I'm seeing even for videos, like idea generation, and sometimes if it's just even writing, and instead of just wordsmithing for the next 4 hours, let's get some quick edits to get it done faster. So definitely seeing a lot of use in our team.
So if a VP of MarCom at another institution is listening to this, but they haven't started down this path yet, what advice would you give them?
I would give them, a couple of things come to mind. One is give your team the freedom and flexibility and ask them to go teach themselves and then come back and report to you on what they learned and how it'll help them. And the second is transparency, right? So one of the very first things I did with, not just with our president, but with our cabinet, is I was transparent in sharing with them, we're using AI tools, not sharing any private data, we're not uploading student data, all that, and explain how we're using it. And so they understand, so it's not this like some kind of people are being lazy and using AI for jobs. And, so educating others in the cabinet to buy in is the second advice I'd give.
That is excellent advice. Have there been any key resources that you've turned to help with that process?
Yep. So actually, Rose-Hulman, where I work, is a STEM-based college, and so we're just undergrad STEM focused. So fortunately for us, we have several professors, especially in our CS department, who are champions of AI, teaching AI, both kind of the good and the bad, and how do we overcome. So there's actually 2 professors are teaching a class that they're letting even staff audit that I'm going to take in the winter quarter. And so in the past, I've relied on more experts, internally and in the industry and some of the peer institutions. But I'm very much looking forward to actually just being in my backyard and taking the class and as a resource. As a part of the end is everyone in class would have to do a 10-minute presentation about how AI is kind of helping their, field or what.
That's incredible. Now I got to ask, what are some of your favorite tools?
So, I'm always go back to ChatGPT. I know that's probably maybe one of the first ones I used, and so maybe that might be why I've tried some of the other ones, and I just go back to, for my line of work, that's where I use, and it's obviously has learned a lot more, so that's the starting over. Although I am a big fan of Apple AI just rolled out, and so even though it's in early stages, I see promising even for when you're in a meeting, you finish up, it summarizes all the text messages, right? And so at least if you have time to look at it or look later on. So those are probably my 2 so far. Yeah.
I love it. You're clearly a like efficiency and productivity guy. Like, you're like, help me understand my text messages as fast as possible. That's great. Yeah, I think ChatGPT is the to AI is like the Kleenex of tissues. Like it was the first one out of the box. So therefore we always think about it. But I agree. It's one of my favorite ones too. Santhana, this has been excellent. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. Do you have any parting thoughts for our listeners?
Oh, just if you haven't been to AMA conference, come check us out. Next year we'll be in Maryland, and so appreciate the time. And then again, if you are not a user of AI, I would just strongly recommend you to learn and give it a try and see how it can help you.
Incredible. Well, listeners, we will catch you next time. This has been Mallory Wilsey live at AMA. Bye-bye. The Higher Ed Pulse is part of the Enrollify Podcast Network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our show helps higher ed marketers and admission pros find their next big idea and features a selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Brian Gross, Eddie Francis, Jenny Lee Fowler, and so many of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.